welcome back to yet another edition of AOTP with Corey and Sean, minus the Sean again today because, as we established last week, the dumbass broke his thumbs putting up a beach chair.
Uh-huh. So he says.
So he says, yeah, that's his official story, so we'll go with it. Last week we talked about the debate and what a debacle it was in every way. So this week, let's have some fun and talk about one of our favorite subjects, Mr. Corey Feldman.
Guy who shares your name.
Yes. I'm so proud to have the same first name as this guy because, I mean, what an icon.
Yeah, really. Just transcends the decades.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, he is one of those, he's like herpes. He just keeps coming back.
Yep. 22 songs every time.
Yeah. 22 songs an album for $500 a piece. I mean, and I have never met anybody that's ever actually listened to an album. I look at his stuff all the time on YouTube because I love watching him meltdown, and people have reactions to said meltdowns. But I mean, he's just a gift that keeps on giving. Every time he goes out on tour or whatever he does with his music career, it just gets worse and worse.
Well, there is one thing I need to correct you on. You said you don't know anybody that's listened to his music?
On the album. I've never...
Unfortunately, you do.
You've listened to his album?
Yep.
Why?
Research.
Oh, okay.
I feel dirty. And I genuinely, I had to go try and listen to something that was decent just to wash the taste out.
Wow. Yeah, I would definitely have to do some serious scrubbing mentally after that one.
It was a cab.
Which album did you listen to?
Was the Angel one.
I don't know what that is.
Angel Out of Hell or something. I forget what it is, but it's one of his somewhat newer ones. I was like, well, no, it's not. I think it's like one or two back. But there's 22 songs on it. Exactly, because 22 is very important to Corey. Corey's,
Yeah, I saw that where his 22 is his like favorite number or some shit like that.
Yeah, and he likes 2-2-year-olds at a time. Oh, excuse me.
22-year-olds.
22-year-olds, excuse me. Sorry.
Well, I also saw where he said that was his age mentally, and I believe it's Harlan Williams was like, yeah, I can see that.
Well, after a night with Michael Jackson, I will not argue with him.
22, magic number.
But no, but just his scummy business practices and,
Everything about his music career is just so off-putting to where I can't help but think to myself, it's like, this is, maybe we as the audience are looking at it wrong in that we should be looking at it the same way we looked at Andy Kaufman in that it's performance art and it's not necessarily meant to get the reaction that we think it is.
Yeah, but see, you can think that all you want, but at the end of the day, he shared a lot of the same crack pipes as the other Corey. So I think it's just he's burnt out, and it sounds different to him, and he thinks it sounds great. So.
Well, that's if it is the performance art, he's so committed to it that I can't help but commend him. But I just don't believe that, because in that aspect, I don't believe him, because when he is like doing an interview about one of his tours, it's like he really, you could tell he was out on the Loserville tour with Fred Durst and Limp Bizkit.
When he had to play in the cafeteria.
Yeah, when mysteriously his shows got rained out. Nobody else's did.
It was just
his. They got rained out and he had to play in the cafeteria. That was good. Like, I don't care what anybody says. That was Fred Durst fucking trolling him.
Well, yeah, of course. Like, because he's like, dude, we're losing tickets. And then,
yeah, that 6:30 show, it's really bringing down the rest of us.
Well, but also it's just all of the tours he does, where on his website he sells his VIP tickets where you can go in the back and meet him.
But he neglects to mention that you have to buy actual event tickets to get in the fucking door.
Yeah, because the venue will not recognize them because they are not, those VIP tickets are not associated with the venue at all. So yes, you technically have bought permission to go see Corey, but you haven't bought permission to go into the place where Corey is. So
Yeah,
that kind of makes things a bit difficult.
yeah. He leaves that out too in his instructions.
But then also his mystery boxes when he was giving
Oh my
away
god,
the Funko Pops and the tour shirts and the guitar picks and all that shit.
yeah. His peddling of his bullshit is just like wow. That's why I can't fully believe that it's performance art, because he gets on there and he gets so bothered when somebody points out just how stupid this shit. Like, why would anybody pay $500 for a Corey Feldman DVD CD Hershey Kiss box set? Like, what in there is worth? And that's if you don't want it signed. If you want it signed, it's like $100 more, and then you have to pay $150 shipping on the son of a bitch.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of like the old saying, champagne tastes on a beer budget. Like, because he really thinks he's more famous than he is.
Yeah, what gets me is he thinks he's a lot more culturally relevant than he is. Not even famous. It's like he thinks he is a pop culture icon.
I loved it in the one interview he did. I forget where he was, but he was talking about, he's like, well, I mean, everybody, they kind of like hang on what I say, and so I have to be really careful about what I say because, it can be taken the wrong way. I'm a little controversial. I don't know if you noticed, but he's like, I'm kind of like the abortion issue. It's like, you compared yourself to the abortion issue.
Well, he also compared himself to the Beatles. So,
yeah, I know.
I mean, he's clearly off.
And that's what we're going to do right now. So it's a weird idea. It's kind of like the Beatles playing the rooftop of the Apple building. Just like that, except the Loserville version of
but it's like, dude, nobody gives a shit what you think, man.
Like, wait a minute, the abortion issue, you're right on par with that as far as controversial goes.
Yeah. And
mind explaining? Well, not really. I just thought it sounded good.
Well, but then also his quote-unquote documentary he was making about how he was going to out he said Hollywood's going to change forever when I release this documentary. Then it turns out he did have a premiere for it that he charged people, and then when people paid to have it charged, they had to buy it again. And
yeah. That was a mystery. Like, that was the Wolf Pack.
Oh yeah, he said it was the Hollywood elites that shut his servers down. And then when he finally did come out and say, these people, they, diddled me, blah 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 blah, whatever. Because YouTube doesn't like the old essays. But then when he finally does come out and say who it was, it ended up being some
random extra or something.
It was an extra in one of the Friday the 13th movies, and then some like assistant director or something. It was nobody.
It wasn't the big names that you would expect, like your Harvey Weinsteins, like all the.
Well, it's not even Harvey Weinstein. I mean, he was making it seem like it was going to be like
he was like going to bring down Hollywood.
Yeah, like he was making it seem like it was going to be like Tom Hanks, like Brad Pitt, stuff like that.
Well, the one name he really hinted at was Charlie Sheen.
Yeah, he said Charlie Sheen ard Corey Haim on the set of Lucas.
Low serve ill.
And that blew my mind because it's like
Carrie Green was on that set.
Carrie Green was on that set. The blonde girl.
Is it redhead?
No, I know who Carrie Green is. I'm talking about the blonde girl that was also in 2.5 Men, and she was Sunny in the Revenge of the Nerds 2.
Very immense penises.
Yeah.
She was also on that set, yet somehow he wanted
Corey Haim.
A 12-year-old Corey Haim. In all of Charlie Sheen's bad behaviors, you've never heard anything like that as far as...
Hey, he wanted to find out what that Haim mouth do.
All right. But, that's another thing that Corey Feldman likes to talk about is how Corey Haim was his best friend and all this shit. And you look back and Corey Haim's own words, like they didn't like each other.
No, and they hated. They actually despised being compare
like the two Coreys lumped together.
The whole 80s, the two Coreys.
Yeah.
They didn't care for it. There was only room enough for one on those Tiger Beat covers.
And it was usually Corey Haim.
Yeah. It was.
Yeah, it was. I mean,
because we get it. Corey Feldman, he does awful, like, knock off Michael Jackson dance moves.
And also, like, even in the movies, like, say, Lost Boys and License to Drive, that's the two that jump out at me that they were in. Corey Haim was, like, the leading character.
Yeah.
More so than Corey Feldman in both of them.
And Corey's one big breakout hit, Dream a Little Dream. I don't know who's ever seen that.
You shit-kicking, stinky horse-smelling motherfucker, you.
Like, he had memorable roles. He did. I'm not going to deny him that.
But they were all supporting roles.
Yeah,
Never once was he like your leading man in a blockbuster movie, like he claims.
Yeah, he was not Tom Cruise. Like, he was not even a Liam Neeson. He was,
he wasn't even a Corey Haim.
But he wasn't even a Ralph Macchio. Let's be honest here.
Although, I mean, they look pretty close.
Yeah, that's a joke between us. I've said that all I want to do is meet Corey
and get him to sign a copy of Karate
Kid, and then just talk about how I loved him and my cousin Vinny, and how sad it was when he died in The Outsiders.
But realistically, though, Ralph Macchio had a much bigger acting career than Corey Feldman did, because Corey Feldman just fizzled out at such a young age.
Yeah, it's because he got diddled.
Well, he got to be best friends with Michael Jackson, and Michael Jackson was telling him,
That's what I mean.
I don't believe for a second that Michael Jackson ever told him he could be a musician, because, like, Michael would never put his stamp on something that shitty.
Well, beyond
Beyond
that, from what I understand from Michael Jackson, I mean, I'm sure he'd be like, "Oh, that's great," to be supportive to a friend, and then maybe he did, but the Michael Jackson, that is where I think all of his bravado comes from.
Yeah,
all of it, because it is inarguable that he was a friend of Michael Jackson's,
and he's become a professional name dropper since.
Yes, and nobody can deny. Yes, he was friends with Michael Jackson. However, what I think happened was he probably showed Michael Jackson his dance, and because Michael Jackson, wanted in his dungarees, he said, "Oh, that's great, Corey, it's so good." And then Michael was probably like, "Oh, don't listen to those people, they're ignorant." And so from then on, getting the endorsement of Michael Jackson, it doesn't matter what anybody else says. Michael Jackson said it was good.
Even his was not even so much as an endorsement.
He just wanted in his butthole.
That's it.
He just wanted in his butthole.
That's it. Hey, whatever.
Do what you got to do, man.
Like the Corey Feldman telling Howie Mandel, Michael Jackson, like, "What's with the Youth" song or whatever.
Where he said Michael Jackson
said this was going to be a #1 song,
and then he said he offered to take it into the record company and have them, like,
produce it right then, and it would be an absolute #1 song. And then you hear the song, and it's like, wow, Michael Jackson would never say that about that turd.
And but also he claimed that his integrity, or Corey claimed that his integrity was such that he told Michael Jackson,
"I want to do it the hard way."
He said, "If I go in there, if I make it big because Michael Jackson got me there," he's like, "I didn't really earn it, did I?" And he said, "So I needed to earn it and play all the little clubs and do this stuff." Well, that was 20, 30 years ago now?
Well, also another thing about that is he also didn't want to be known as Michael Jackson's lackey.
Even though
he spent 30 fucking years
ripping off his dance
moves. His general look.
Pardon my French, but you're an asshole.
He tries to sing like him, but Corey's got that awful gravelly voice anyway.
Yeah.
It's seriously, who are you trying to convince at this point? It's hard. He blurs the line between, is this Andy Kaufman-esque performance art, or is this fucker really that serious and that fucking oblivious to himself?
And now I can't see living in this world without you, 'cause you've become every little part of me. Never have to worry, 'cause I'm here to stay.
Well, I think he's oblivious regardless.
Oh, completely oblivious.
Like, I mean, that's not even a question. Like, of course he's oblivious.
He doesn't do drugs now. When he says he's addicted to Coke, he means Coca-Cola.
Hello, I'm Corey Feldman. Did you know that crack cocaine has become a national concern?
Said that in another interview. I mean, it's just
because
he's
the comeback king.
The YouTube is full of his interviews, and everyone is worse than the last. Yeah, he's the comeback king, and it's like, what? Explain this comeback to us, Corey.
I don't have the track coming through my mind now.
On the same count, everybody. Really?
Come back, King!
Okay. Well, I mean, he's also got other videos that are like his latest song, "The Joke." The joke is on you. Is the main?
Is that the thing with
the horn thing? He got a fucking truck horn attachment and put it on a DeWalt power drill, and he goes before he sings the joke. And I'm like, and this is after circus music.
Yeah, and
so
he plays calliope music.
Completely ridiculous.
Yeah, it's not good.
But what he also claims is that the joke is what introduced us, the world, to what he claims is him trolling everybody and putting in doing the worst guitar solo in fucking history. He says he's doing it for trolling purposes, but if you watch him, no, he is 100% serious about it.
He sees himself as literally the second coming of Eddie Van Halen.
He is, yeah. He
look at
according to him, he's a rock star,
and literally all it is him plinking the same string over and over again,
and doing this,
and just going.
Sometimes with a jacket, sometimes without.
It looks like a Michael Jackson flashback when he does that with his mouth, but hey, whatever.
Yeah, that was Michael's favorite mouth move.
Michael really loved it.
You know what? Basically, where we have all these questions about whether Corey is legitimate or not.
Yeah, because I mean, ultimately, we don't know.
We don't know. We can't say for certain. But we firmly feel that an investigation needs to be done. And
it's up to us.
I feel that it's up to us to do that investigation. And I think it's time to open the can of worms and dump it on the internet. And we'll get to the bottom of this Corey Feldman, hullabaloo one way or the other. We're going to solve the mystery of whether he's serious or not.
Yeah, we're going to figure out if he's a second coming Andy Kaufman or if he's just a burnout junkie.
Who thinks he can play a guitar and sing.
Yes.
Because Michael Jackson once told him he could.
Yeah. Like Michael Jackson stepped on my foot one time, so I decided to build shoes.
He told me I could moonwalk. He stepped on my foot so I could moonwalk magically. Oh, you know what? That's it. Stay tuned. We will be opening the can of worms soon. But for now, you can like, share, and subscribe. Comment all you want. I know the Corey Feldman fans really like to comment on his behalf. We also have, you can find us also on Facebook. I always keep forgetting to mention that. We have a Facebook as well, AOTP with Corey and Sean. See ya.
You all did know that if you say Corey Feldman in a mirror 3 times, he appears.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know.
I didn't know that at all.
That's weird.
Really?